Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of the Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to do a little news of the day for March 13th, 2023. Specifically, we're going to talk about two different topics today, real quick. One of them is about piece of shit Dianne Feinstein trying to give the ATF the power to basically create a gun registry, aka be a Hitlerian fucking cunt that she is. And the other one is about specifically East Palestine and how it's been over months since the whole thing. We got JD Vance doing an exclusive interview with Breitbart the other day about it and how it's Biden's administration basically fucking around and not allowing for actual cleanup to happen there. Because why would they? Why would they want it happening in mega country, dude? Why would they want it happening in Trump country is what it is. It's a bunch of shit, dude, entirely. But, yeah, the first things first, though. We're going to talk about this FPC thing that was posted about 3-4 hours ago here on Twitter. Said Senator Dianne Feinstein is trying to give the ATF a license to build a national registry. Crime Gun Tracing Modernization Act, or Senate Bill 203, creates a firearm registry. National Tracing Center of the ATF shall establish and maintain electronically searchable database of all records within its possession, which they should not have, by the way. So the National Tracing Center may query, search, or otherwise access the electronic databases. So basically, it means all cops and everything else like that. And then the database shall include, in search results, the entire contents of relevant records kept by licensees. Yeah, fuck you, you old dementia cunt. And fuck all your piece of shit little fucking staffers that wrote this bullshit for you, is what it is. You should all be in fucking federal prison right now, dude. Fucking disgusted by it, man. It's absolutely sickening. It's completely unconstitutional. And this is what I'm saying, dude. Like, this is the kind of stuff I've talked about on the channel before that need to be immediately, the second these fucking people introduce this shit, it's off to the fucking prison cell in handcuffs with them, dude. It's immediately get the fuck up, you're under arrest for deprivation of rights or color of law, oath breaking, etc., at that point. So, well, as far as I understand, she's going to be in a home pretty soon, so, because she's on her last legs at this point. She's going to be replaced at some point here in 2024, probably by that piece of shit Adam Schiff was my guess at this point, honestly, which, again, goes back to what I've talked about before with California, dude. They ain't done representation at all federal level, dude. Neither them nor New York nor New Jersey at this point need to have representation federally, dude. You can get rid of over 100 fucking people there, pretty much. Those three states alone is what it is. Even just kick out New Jersey or whatever. It's like almost 80 fucking people between California and New York right now that are in federal Congress / Senate is what it is, dude. When you got 52 jackasses in the U.S. House right now that are all from California, the majority of which are Democrats, like 30 plus, I think is what it is. Nah, man. It's time to kick that fucking shit down, especially when you have like 7 or 8 states right now that have a single fucking congressman in office right now, dude. Places like Wyoming and Montana and stuff like that. It's a bunch of shit, dude. If we wanted to have a true, just society right now, if we wanted to have an actual, like, true representation across the fucking board currently, you would have every states have 5. They would have 5 congressmen and 2 senators in them, dude. And you would have the 5 people that are in Congress, in the House side is what it is. It would be 4 of them would be from rural areas in the state, and 1 would be from the capital area in the state. And that's exactly how it should be across the board, dude. And that way you have true representation then, and it's not just a bunch of fucking scumbags screwing everybody over is what it is, dude. And speaking of scumbags screwing people over, you got good old Biden administration. Exclusive, JD Vance, railroad companies have gotten in bed with big government, Biden's administration making it more difficult to clean up East Palestine mess. So Senator JD Vance, who by the way was in the state of Ohio today, getting shit done here, talking specifically about how we have like almost 30,000 tons of soil that's starting to be moved out of the state right now that are all toxic, contaminated, and everything else like that, dude. But yeah, you had Vance, who's actually getting shit done here in his first term in U.S. Senate, like about 3 months into it right now. told Matthew Boyle in an exclusive interview with SiriusXM's Breitbart News Saturday that East Palestine train disaster is not evidence of a problem with the free market, given that, quote, these railroad companies have gotten in bed with big government. Meanwhile, Biden administration is currently making it more difficult to clean up the area in small-town Ohio. So these railroad companies have gotten totally in bed with big government, Vance said. Most recently, 3 months ago, they were bailed out by government in the form of the feds coming in, Biden and others coming in and settling the labor union issue that the railroads have, which, by the way, that was the entire point of the fucking railroad strike that was happening back, like fucking December time period is what it was, dude. Was they were trying to expose the fact you had all kinds of rusted up fucking shit in the trains and you had like almost nobody on them anymore for conductors and stuff like that to be able to do their jobs and make sure shit like this and all the roast didn't happen, dude. And by the way, since then, since we've all had this big disaster in East Palestine, you've had dumbass Buttigieg talk about fucking like 1,000 train derailments a year or something like that, dude. There's been like 20 in the last fucking 15 or 20 days, for God's sakes. There was one in Alabama like a couple days ago. There was one in West Virginia over the fucking weekend. There's been like 2 more in the state of Ohio since that fucking East Palestine one, dude. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Fix your fucking shit. And the biggest problem, I think, honestly, with the railroads in general right now is they're not fucking either way. They're not either fully free market or they're not fully fucking federalized at this point, like the USPS would be at this point, honestly, dude. You have a mix of both at this point. You have governments basically controlling shit in some various factors, with like the rail lines is what it is. But you have the actual railroad companies being privately owned entities is what it is, dude. So it's like either make it all the fucking same exact thing, either be privatized or fucking be governmentized at this point. I don't care which. Try both maybe for a couple of years apiece and see which one's functions better is what it is, man. And then we the people fucking decide in a voting thing at that point after like 5 years or something like that. Like you basically do like 2 years for the fucking government to have it and 2 years for the fucking private entities to have it or whatever the case be. And then we figure out in that, 4-year time span, like, okay, which one of these is actually better? And then, or even that same vein of things, you split the shit right down the middle. You have one side of the country do the privatized side in that 2-year time, because it's even faster than that. It'd be 2-year time span on that one. Meanwhile, the other side of the country goes full, government fucking federalized shit or whatever the case be. And in that 2 years, you figure out which one does it better. And then bing, bang, boom, fucking the people get to pick who actually want to do it at this point, dude. So, anyway. Continuing back on with that, though. Shit, I lost my marker now. Oops. Right now. There we go. I inadvertently knocked the article down. That's what happened there. Okay, right now. Yeah, so Biden and company did the labor union thing. So you cannot tell me that this is a free market when you've gotten in bed with big government and are begging for big government privileges. So Vance added that the Republican Party is, quote, on the side of the firefighters and the police officers responding to these disasters, not the big train companies. In East Palestine right now, there are thousands of tons of toxic dirt from the train derailment. You have the chemicals seeping into the soil. So we have to dig this stuff out, the contaminated soil, and get it out of there to proper facilities to dispose of it. So there are mounds of toxic dirt literally sitting on the ground in East Palestine. You know why? Because Biden's administration is making it harder to get stuff done, the proper disposal sites. We just cannot forget about these people. If this town is not cleaned up in the right amount of time, which is already, by the way, too late at this point, this is a disastrous failure of government, a disastrous failure of every institution in our country that should be looking after vulnerable people. And then, meanwhile, on the flip side of that, you got majority of people want piece of shit Buttigieg to resign. You should have already been tossed out of fucking that position of power in general, dude. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, dude. I don't care if it is the transportation secretary, if it is the fucking secretary of state, if it is the secretary of education, whatever the case be. Every single one of these fucking cabinet positions should be voted on by we the fucking people, dude. There is absolutely no reason for any sitting president ever to have the ability to pick about 50 fucking dickheads as secretary positions, dude. Especially not fucking dickheads like Pete Buttigieg, who have no goddamn logistical fucking knowledge in their goddamn heads and are a fucking failed piece of shit mayor from South Bend, Indiana, who literally made it so fucking retarded in that fucking city, he failed to get a second term as mayor, dude. He divided the fucking city on racial lines by having one side all gentrified and fucking LGBT fucking white people, basically. And then the other side was all minorities, is what it was, dude. And it's why you had the black people that were on the other side of the tracks hate his fucking guts, and as they should have, because he's a fucking piece of shit. And instead of him being fucking told to fuck off after that forever, what do you have? You have cheating ass fucking Biden being like, oh no, hey Pete, you want a job? Cool. We'll put you in transportation secretary. You have no fucking business being in here at all because you have no actual logistical background of anything. It's like, no, man, you want to put somebody in that position that's actually a good person that knows what the fuck they're doing as a job? Put in somebody that's a longshoreman for 20 fucking years. Put in somebody that's done fucking shit on our docks and stuff like that across this country in various, shipping knowledge and stuff like that, that actually has that kind of background. Whether it be a supervisor or manager, whatever the case be, kind of person there. Like the longshoreman types or anything for that matter, dude. Anybody in the trucking industry, for God's sakes, that's a fucking trucker for 20 years or has any kind of like logistics knowledge in fucking middle management position or something like that, dude. That would have been a better fucking transportation secretary than fucking fuckboy Pete is what it is, dude. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. And then you wonder why this fucking ass clown took like almost a month to come to East Palestine and they got fucking called out by Savannah Hernandez, and that little bitch Pete is all like, oh, I don't want to talk about that stuff. Then don't have a fucking job, motherfucker. Why don't you go suck your fucking husband's dick again on some fucking Paris vacation then, asshole, for another 6 months? Fucking ridiculous. I'm so sick and tired of it, dude. Like, watching my fucking state basically burn at this point because of these fucking ass clowns being in office, dude, is everything wrong with this country currently. Anyway. Taking back on with what Vance said here. Said, it said J.D. Vance also noted that there are all these knock-on effects from the Ohio train disaster, such as farmers who can't sell their hay, can't sell their chicken eggs because people are terrified of East Palestine being too contaminated, as they should be, dude. And that's what I said. It's not just East Palestine, by the way. It's the entire state of Ohio right now, dude. And I'm going to say it like it is, dude. I fear planting. Like, as someone who lives in this state, dude, we are about 2 to 3 months, give or take, because we always seem to have like one final snowstorm around like the early part of May is what it is, or like very end of April, somewhere in there. And then it's usually like around like end of May, early June is when we can actually plant and stuff for the season and stuff like that, I'm not even going to plant a garden this year, dude, because I'm that terrified. Because I'm that terrified of the fucking fallout almost 50 miles away from East Palestine that I live in here in this town. That it's already contaminated my fucking soil right now, dude. And God forbid if you live, 5, 10, 15, 20 miles from that, good fucking luck not having that shit contaminated like a motherfucker right now, dude. And the worst part of it is, they could easily be fixing this shit the right way right now, dude. You can literally plant oyster mushrooms in the soil. It sucks out the fucking contaminants. You can eat the fucking mushrooms, by the way, on top of that, dude. They're all, like, even if they're contaminated with the shit, because it's them being natural fungi, they can actually process through the contamination and grow off of it without actually being contaminated when you eat it, is what it is. And yeah, they could sit there and just leave that soil sit there and fucking plant a shitload of mushrooms in it, dude. It could be decontaminated that way instead of passing it to a bunch of different disposal facilities across this country, honestly, dude. But nobody's talking about that stuff right now. That's why I will, honestly. Because it's very possible to do that shit, man. You plant a shitload of fucking mushrooms in that stuff, specifically oysters is what it is. You let them soak up the contamination. If you don't want to eat them, that's fine, dude. Just dispose the fucking mushrooms, that's what it is, dude. Grind them up into whatever then. Throw them through a fucking wood chipper or something like that, for God's sakes, dude, and just dispose of that shit, that's what it is, man. But it would be a hell of a lot less shit to deal with than, basically 28 tons of fucking soil, dude. Or 30 tons of soil, whatever the hell it is now. And that's the biggest thing right now. You have a much better, easier solution to deal with the fucking problem, and nobody's talking about it, man. And God forbid, we're going to be affected as a state right now. And that's the biggest thing people don't realize, dude. There's a shitload of fucking food that comes out of the state of Ohio right now, dude. Whether it be apples every year, whether it be various corn and soybeans and stuff like that are used in our food supply. not only our food supply, but like food supplies across the fucking world, from Canada to China, everything else like that, dude. So yeah, we're fucked. Like, our food supply is gonna drop like a motherfucker this year, dude. And I am scared shitless right now of what's gonna happen in the future, dude. I fear food riots right now by the end of the year, honestly, dude, because of this shit. Anyway, said Vance continued on, said, these are small businesses that are completely hemorrhaging, meaning the people that can't sell their eggs and hay and stuff like that. He said, think of what happened during Corona, but just happening to one small town where pretty much everything got shut down. As for what to do in order to prevent these types of disasters, Vance noted that he has presented a bipartisan bill. We're not trying to create a new regulatory regime here, but we want the trains to pay when they cause this problem. I think they're totally fair and appropriate. Or I think that's totally fair and appropriate. No, it's totally fair and appropriate. Like I said before, dude, it's time to put Norfolk Southern out of business once we're fucking all right now. Bankrupt these cocksuckers into the fucking ground and have that $55 billion fucking money that they have sitting in their bank accounts and stuff like that, dude. Divide out the people of Ohio and the surrounding fucking states right now. They're going to be affected by this shit for the next 20, 30, 40 years of our lives when we get cancer and shit like that from this crap, dude. Because they literally doused us in Agent Orange, motherfucker. Every single person that was in the state of Ohio when that happened, dude, now has Agent Orange in their fucking system forever. From the dioxins and shit like that. But you don't want to talk about that one, do you, JD Vance? No, you don't, brother. You're too busy fucking jerking each other off in the Senate right now, man. Or you're just not smart enough to actually know what the fuck's going on is what it is, bro, because you don't have time to actually look into this shit like I do. So listen to me when I tell you the truth, bro. Anyway. Said, in addition to making train companies pay for all this stuff, the bill also provides proper notice of the first responders when they go to fight fires in these environments, so they actually know what they're dealing with. It's a big problem in East Palestine. These guys were talking about a nearly all volunteer fire department. They went in to fight a fire in East Palestine, had no idea what they were dealing with toxic chemicals. We have to change that. So the bill also creates an incentive that these rails are installed safely, detectors along the rail line. Train was starting to disintegrate, Vance said, when the train operator from Norfolk Southern that derailed the East Palestine last month said joint bearings were starting to disintegrate before it even crashed. Somebody should have caught that and recognized the problem before it led to this catastrophic train derailment. Well, see, that's the problem, though, right? And again, something I've talked about here many times, dude. The issue becomes a situation of failing infrastructure. You have these trains and the tracks, for that matter, that have not been updated since the 1950s. You have 70 plus year fucking old tracks, dude. Or if nothing else, it's like the 60s maybe. So it's like 60 plus year old tracks at this point. And the same thing with the trains, man. You have these trains sitting on fucking tracks all the time, having their bearings and everything else rusting out. Every fucking day there's a storm. Every time they get hit with water, every time they get hit with snow, et cetera, dude. And they're rusting out and they're not being fixed. And it's a fucking clusterfuck, yet we're spending fucking billions of dollars in some fucking bullshit ass proxy war with fucking Ukraine and fucking Russia, dude. Fuck that shit. Every last damn dime should be going to fix the fucking failed infrastructure of the United States of America right now, dude. Anybody that's got a problem with that can fuck off, is what it is, dude. It should be America first, America always, and fuck everybody else until we fix our fucking shit. I am goddamn sick and tired of it, and everybody else should be at this point too, man. Enough is enough of this fucking crap, dude. No more money to any other country ever again until everything in America gets fucking properly updated. End of story. See you guys in the next one.